Let's get it. 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 Let's get it.
Nothing changes if nothing changes. Nothing changes, nothing changed. Without you here in the pages, nothing changes. Still got a hold on me. Even without you here. Still got a hold on me. Even without you here.
Here we go. Much better. Much better.
I didn't know that it'd be so hard, yeah, for
Oh
me
shit.
to
No, that was
relax, finding my purpose. I don't know what makes me happy, don't know what makes me sad. I sit around and ponder emotions in my head. I give up, no matter what I do, not here, no. I try so hard to stop, I give in to every single bad temptation. And I just wanna feel like a good person, a good person. When I wake every single morning now, I give up. No matter what I do, I give up. I give up.
Boom, baby, we back. Looking great. Feeling great. Here for another stream. Let's get it, baby. Let's go. Who ready? I'm ready. You ready? Let's get up. a tad bit. Just a tad bit. Alrighty, here. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. There we go.
Want to know how I took my business to the next level? It's simple. It's Shopify. Shopify has all the tools in one place to run your business and design your website to match your brand, so you can turn your fans into customers. See for yourself. Start your free Shopify trial today.
Where is it? It would be.
Hey, you!
Me?
Yeah, you! Don't you want to play something different?
Bring it up!
Try this.
Yo, nice.
Valorant is a 5 versus 5 shooter where you'll attack or defend strategic points on the map. You'll have pistols, rifles, SMGs, snipers. There are even guns that look like a frickin' dragon! Sorry, you can't have that until after the pistol round. Make your way to one of the objectives and plant the spike. The spike detonates after some time. If you're successful, the round is yours. If the spike is defused, you lose the round.
Let's blow them over.
On my way.
Help.
Here. Enemy spotted.
Watching here. No.
Bunch of guys here.
You should have seen your faces. Yo, Brimstone. You know the drill.
Let's go.
Reloading. Tear them down.
Enemy down.
Yeah. Let's bring it back.
Multiple enemies spotted.
Beat them back.
Your fault.
You know what to do.
Spike's here.
Pay attention. Might learn something.
Spike planted.
Death is cold.
We good. We good.
Enemy spotted. Shot done.
This shit is annoying. Much better, I guess. Um, all right. Finally, we're ready to go. Pause. Yes, 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 yes. Claressa Shields got knocked the fuck out. Let me see if I can find it. There it is.
Jab. Oh. Jab. Oh.
Now, this wouldn't be a problem ever, usually. No one would really care. But Claressa Shields has lately made her whole personality being that she's one of the guys. And she can knock out any male fighter. From Triple G to Keith Thurman. She's been on Keith Thurman ass. Instead of leaving these people alone, staying in your lane, you think you can knock these people out. Why you think you can knock these people out? Don't get me wrong, you a good female fighter, but there's weight divisions and there's gender divisions for a reason. This is the reason. And this is sparring. Now she went off basically saying that who is this guy? Arturs Atmetovs, that he took the padding out of his gloves because she embarrassed him earlier that week and that he's a punk. I don't know how you can take the padding out of your gloves. I don't know how. There's no way. I don't see how you could do it. Apparently he did. There we go. Apparently he did. I doubt it. This is her going
Tried
on.
to hide them bags. Tried to hide them gloves. Why you went and put them gloves in the bag? Tried to hide them bags. Tried to hide them gloves. Answer me that, Derek Santos. Talking about these gloves were gifted by Roberto Duran to me, and I didn't know that the padding was that much in there. The gloves and the padding had 0 to no padding in it. Period. That's what it's about. You think I got a problem with getting dropped? It's boxing. It happens. I done been hit so hard. I done seen stars. I done got hit like where I couldn't eat for 3 days, sparring against heavyweight coming up when I was 17. I don't give a fuck about being dropped. But
if you didn't give a fuck, why are you on Twitter? Why are you on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you posted this, going off about getting dropped? This is why are you on here about getting dropped. It's not because the dude posted the video, because otherwise talk about how these fighters out here put so much stock on sparring footage. Sparring footage really don't matter. Yeah, you get dropped. Yeah, you get hurt. But what matters is what happens when you get in the ring. Why not say that instead of going off about getting dropped? It makes it seem like you got a problem with being dropped.
I will say is when a try to cheat me, you got me fucked up. And yes, I ran to my car and I grabbed my knife and I was going to cut Derek Santos. Guess who?
Damn. But it's not because I got dropped. You going off. You was about to catch a charge.
Stop me, Coach John. Because I will slice his old ass up because don't ever cheat against me. I'm just grateful that in my career that happened to me, even though it was wrong. And he cheated and he took the padding out his gloves because he was mad about it. Even though it happened, I'm happy that it didn't hurt my career moving forward. Like, I only been dropped one time, so I'm like, all right.
So you upset that he dropped you and the footage came out. You mad? You like, oh, it's okay. I'm glad it didn't hurt my career. I mean, sparring ain't gonna hurt your career ever. You sparring. So you are upset that he dropped you.
But sometimes that stuff can be more damaging.
Yeah, nah. Claressa, you need to act like a champion. You like two-time undisputed or 3-time undisputed, something like that. You need to get it together.
Jab. Oh.
Oh shit.
Oh. Jab. Oh.
All right. All right. Okay.
Period. That's what it's about. Period.
All right.
Period.
And I saw, oh damn, man, 6-1. I mean, that's not bad. But I heard he got he got knocked out by Rolly Romero.
Oh, she called out Keith Thurman. It still remains that Keith Thurman do not have any boxing skills, and he got power too. Him and Rolly need to fight each.
Why are you on Keith Thurman, bro? I don't get it. What's your issue with Keith Thurman? Specifically, Keith Thurman. Like you went and you were like, okay, there's hundreds, probably like thousands of boxers in the world. Hundreds of boxers that are on the mainstream, right? And you go, nah, I want Keith Thurman. That's what I want. I want Keith Thurman. Why though? Has he said anything to you? Why are you so pressed?
And and Rolly, next time I see you, you can put your dukes up because I'm gonna punch the out your ass because
Also, she went off on Rolly. I hate this X nonsense. It made me want to push, like, click X. Rolly Romero. He took down the tweet. But he tweeted basically that he knocked this guy down. Somebody put it up here. No way they didn't. Oh my God. Where is it? There's no way they didn't. Somebody had the tweet. They posted it. Let me see. Maybe it's here. I can't find it. But basically he was saying that he shouldn't be putting his hands on a woman, and he showed the clip of him knocking him out. I'm mad that I can't find it because it was. It's whatever. But basically, he said that she went off saying that she gonna whoop his ass. All he did was defend her.
and now y'all talking about some. Oh, she called out Keith Thurman. It still remains that Keith Thurman do not have any boxing skills, and he got power too. Him and Rolly need to fight each other. And Rolly, next time I see you, you can put your dukes up because I'm gonna punch the out your ass because whenever I see you in person, you bow down and you be respectful. That's period. But then you
Bow
want to come to my
down.
inbox somebody hating on you. Don't flatter yourself. Is you stupid? Hating on Rolly. You sound stupid. I can guarantee you that Savannah Marshall can whoop Rolly's ass. Shakur gonna whoop Rolly's ass. Devin Haney gonna whoop Rolly's ass. Tia Fimo gonna whoop Rolly's ass. Ryan Garcia gonna whoop Rolly's ass. So Rolly, while your punk ass came to my inbox, I will square up with you and whoop your ass. Literally. I will come to TMT Gym and literally put my hands on you. I will embarrass you with all that power you got. I will embarrass you, little for real. I'm how far your daddy had to go across the ocean and swim for his freedom. You was an ungrateful for sure because your daddy did all that to get you over here, and then as soon as you fought pay-per-view, you got your dumb ass knocked out. And then after that, they give you an easy fight to come back against a 50-year-old man, and then you lose, and then you accept the victory. I would have handed that man his belt. Man, here you go, man. I already know I lost the fight, even though they said I won. Here go the belt.
You wouldn't have done that. Nobody does that. Nobody does. Nobody goes, wins a fight, even if you know you lost, and goes, you know what, take the belt, because, I didn't win the fight. You wouldn't do that. Nobody would do that. You take the belt, you keep it pushing. Maybe you give the person a rematch, maybe not. But you don't give the belt back.
Belt.
Shut up.
You know what? I'm
Shit's
gonna
starting to piss me
contact that
off.
old man and give him one of my belts because I got 13 of them. It's okay because if I can have 12 of them, that's fine. But I'm gonna go ahead and get an old man one of my belts because he sure do deserve it.
But somebody that thinks she one of the guys, she really act like a girl. Like,
For real. And now y'all talking
come on now. This shit is actually sad. You a champion, bro. You like 3 times undisputed. Act like a champion. She is so full of shit. They asked for help to spar, but we want to spar a woman. No one took pattern on the gloves after she was accusing of this. The gloves were handed to her coach, but more importantly, she sparred 2 rounds prior where the archer was instructed not to hit her hard. While he was working with her, she started talking mad shit at him and fouling him to point. She tripped him. In the break, he said, "What the is going on here? We are trying to help. She is a woman." What was replied was, "Well, punch her back. She's a big girl, multi-time champ." He even tried to help her up. Nobody wanted that to happen. This also happened years ago, and obviously the video was kept never seen. Even though all the comments of she would beat a guy, nothing was said derogatory towards her or spoken of this moment. That was done out of respect for her and nothing to be gained out of what happens in the sparring. Now she went to talking and he posted it. Now this is going to go around. Was it him or did she do it to herself? Years now. Even her coach said, "Had you chin up and got caught." Oh wow, yep. Some equal rights, equal love. I mean, this is what you get when you run your mouth. Constantly saying you could take niggas. Then you fight a nigga who knock you down. That's okay. Get up, keep it pushing. Shut your mouth, and then people want to post the sparring footage, and then keep it pushing with your life. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, she acting like a child, bro. She need to do better. All right, I want to look into some. Wait, actually, what's trending right now? Oh yeah, I'm sure Harvard is trending. Oh my god, I will never hire.
MIT until the school's dean stepped down. Has anyone from these schools applied to work with you?
Yeah, well, first of all, we already have Harvard grads, so they're grandfathered in. But in the Penn dean, President McGill, she stepped down. Yeah, a lot of people reached out, but I think it's not only me. I think a lot of leaders have to do it. It was disgusting what those deans and presidents did under oath. Makes no sense to me. I don't know how, if you can't condemn genocide, I don't care whether we're talking Jews, Muslims, any group of people, then you don't deserve to be, in a position of power. You got to get out.
What about free speech? Does that come into this?
Yeah, listen, is Hitler allowed to say, "I want to kill the Jews, I want to kill the Jews, I want to kill the Jews," right up till he kills the Jews? I would say no. That's what they're saying you can do in this country. There's a difference between free speech and hate speech, and when you're endangering people and causing harm, I think you got to put a stop to it. It's called common sense.
Okay, we always like to run through a whole gamut of subjects.
It's looking good. Hold on.
You will not.
Those deans and presidents did under oath. Makes no sense to me. I don't know how, if you can't condemn genocide, I don't care whether we're talking Jews, Muslims, any group of people, then you don't deserve to be, in a position of power. You got to get out.
What about free speech? Does that come into this?
Yeah, listen, is Hitler allowed to say, "I want to kill the Jews, I want to kill the Jews, I want to kill the Jews," right up till he kills the Jews? I would say no. That's what they're saying you can do in this country. There's a difference between free speech and hate speech, and when you're endangering people and causing harm, I think you got to put a stop to it. It's called common sense.
Okay, we always like to run through a whole gamut of subjects.
I mean, he's right. I don't know why. I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I don't know why, if you're the leader of an institution like Harvard, Yale, wherever these people were, MIT, I
You
think
will
one
not
was.
hire anyone
I
from
don't know
Harvard,
why
UPenn,
you
or
wouldn't
MIT
just
until the
denounce it.
school's dean stepped down.
Just
Has anyone
denounce
from
it.
these schools applied to?
America already calling for her resignation. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is that stuff I'll be talking about. Everybody.
Defunding of Harvard. Okay, I don't know about all that. Because didn't she resigned? So what are you defunding Harvard for? There's no point in doing that. Harvard expected to confirm Claudine Gay will remain president despite reported $1 billion loss over anti-Semitism scandal. Reported. It's not guaranteed. Damn. Harvard out of occupied Palestine. What the as members of Harvard Corporation, we today reaffirm our support for President Gay's continued leadership of Harvard University. Our extensive deliberations affirm our confidence that President Gay is the right leader to help our community heal and to address the very serious societal issues we are facing. So many people have suffered tremendous damage and pain because of Hamas's brutal terrorist attack, and university's initial statement should have been an immediate, direct, and unequivocal condemnation. Calls for genocide are despicable, and contrary to fundamental human values. President Gay has apologized for how she handled her congressional testimony and is committed to redoubling the university's fight against anti Semitism. With regard to President Gay's academic writings, the university became aware in late October of allegations regarding 3 articles at President Gay's request. The fellows promptly initiated an independent review by distinguishing political scientists and conducted a review of her published work. On December 9th, the fellows reviewed the results, which revealed a few instances of inadequate citation. While the analysis found no violation of Harvard standards for research misconduct, President Gay is proactively requesting 4 corrections in 2 articles to insert citations and quotation marks that were omitted from the original publications. What does this have to do with? Okay, so they stand with her about some publication she made and someone challenging that. Harvard board unanimously stand in support of. No, stop. This is what the? Okay, this has nothing to do with what she did, or what she said on the Senate committee. This is talking about her academic writings, bro. Harvard is lost to the woke virus. Wait, what is this letter to anyway? Yeah, bro. I can't type today. Why did I put it on caps? Who knows? Like, come on, dog. You tried it. Kanye is trending. Oh, okay. Okay. Why is meth? Oh, Yemen. Okay. Let's see. Ooh, no, that's a bad idea. Yemen have delivered on their promise and closed the Red Sea to Israel. Yemen fired a cruise missile at an Israeli-linked ship, which caught fire as it attempted to cross the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. Yemen will continue until Israel stops blocking food and medicine to Gaza. That's not good. Yemen is forcing Israeli ships to travel around Africa and suffer. Yeah, if you close the strait, hold on. Yeah, if you close the strait, they would literally have to go all the way around to get to Israel. That's crazy. You can't do that, bro. That's war. Let me remind everyone what happened the last time an Arab nation, an Arab nation, uh, closed the straits, leading that Israel used. 6 Day War. Israel invaded Egypt over the Egyptian closure of maritime passages to Israeli shipping. So, not a good idea to close shipping lanes to Israel. Tell you that. Tell you that 100%. You can't. I was about to say you can't really see it from there. Yeah, bad idea, Yemen. The ship was on fire. Can't tell.
Speak English? Hi, I'm Palestinian from Palestine, and I'm asking people why they are here supporting Palestine. Can I ask you?
I won't think you're the right person.
Why?
I won't think it's good because.
Whatever from the heart.
Okay.
So why are you supporting? Why are you here today at the march?
Because I believe in the liberation of all people, and I think it's very important that we stand here with them so that they know that they're not alone, and that they know that they're not, surviving all by themselves. I think it's important that people around the world stand up with them, and it's kind of the only thing that we can do.
Thank you for that. That's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. What's your name?
Elodie.
Nice to meet you.
Aw,
Excuse me. Do you speak English?
that's sweet. This is not real. This is not real. This is false. This is 100% fake. Look at the. Okay, hold on. There's no way this is real. This is fake. Yeah, misinformation. Come on. It's not even an idea of uniform. You tried it. A Palestinian freedom fighter knocks on the head of an Israeli soldier. Come on, bro. Really? They both have the same outfit on, first of all. You tried it, though. Stupid as hell.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مواكبة للتطورات والمتغيرات والأحداث والإجراءات التي يعمل العدو على فرضها. طبعا سابقا تم تهديدنا نتيجة أو على
World Food
خلفية
Program
موقفنا
stopped
تجاه
the aid to the
فلسطين.
poor people in the areas of the
تم تهديد
Ansarallah
الحكومة في صنعاء
government
بأنه
in Yemen
سيتم
because of
وقف
the support of
المساعدات
Palestine.
التي يقدمها برنامج الغذاء العالمي.
These damn bills that come out here all the damn time come out here in the last second, and I gotta try to figure out how to vote for my people. How ashamed are you? You should be ashamed of yourselves. I'm sick of it. Every year we give power to one person. It was not made that way in the Constitution. He was around when it was written. Now we pass rules that stop
What's this man yapping about, bro? Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. Yemen does not want to be in the naval war with Israel. This is bad. Why is oh my god. I really don't want to Vietnam. Oh, okay. The 2-day visit marks President Xi's first time in Vietnam in 6 years, making it particularly special due to the strong and close relations between the two countries. If they have a strong knit relationship, why is this the first time he's there in 6 years?
Down in Hanoi to begin his state visit to Vietnam. Well, this 2-day visit marks President Xi's first time in Vietnam in 6 years, making it particularly special due to the strong and close relations between the two countries. Well, it has been 15 years since the two sides had established their comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership, reflecting Vietnam's highest regard for diplomatic ties. In about half an hour, Chinese President Xi Jinping will
Wait, but I mean, literally, why? No, yeah. I keep putting. Like
in Hanoi to begin his.
Okay, interesting. Zelensky, bro, man's going through it. He need that aid. He need that moolah. Why are we protecting?
On the other hand, he made it clear, and we all made it clear, that if we lose, Putin wins. And this will be very, very dangerous for the United States. So we cannot let Putin influence through any surrogate what we need to do for Ukraine. He also made one other point. He needs the aid quickly. If we don't give the aid quickly, several things will happen. First, the military needs, but second, Europe and many other allies will say, what is going on here? They're not giving them the aid. Thank you.
Wait, why are we? This is 2022. Why are we still giving aid to Afghanistan? Am I bugging? Why are we giving aid to Afghanistan? They controlled by the Taliban. Also, Yemen, that's 1 point, what is that? I can't see it. That's like 1.4 or 1.2 billion. I could be wrong. But don't fuck around Oh, that could go bye-bye. Why is this? Why is this muted? Why is there no sound? Oh my God. Why do people not like Ukraine? Hmm. Blowing up an UNRWA school in Beirut, north of Gaza. So far, Israel was victorious over women, children, unarmed civilians, buildings, and air. All I see are losers who can't fight like real men, so they attack the defenseless. Oof, this is not a good look. I don't know about slaughtered like pigs. Last numbers I seen were that only 100 IDF soldiers died so far in the war. The diaper army. Oh my God. I can't watch that. We have killed Jesus and we are proud of it. Israeli threatening Christians in USA is supporting this.
Could kiss my ass, okay? Go away. Screw you. Whoa. Don't camera, no camera. I break your camera. Don't take picture. Okay?
Then go
Screw
away.
you Nazi. You fuck. Don't take camera. I break your camera. Don't take picture. Shabbat shalom. No picture. We don't want picture.
Leave.
What?
You can't come in here. This is not your house.
This is not your house. We killed Jesus. We're proud of it. Where are you?
Did you record that?
Get the fuck out of here.
This is an atrocious look.
My land, you
This is not your land. It belongs to these families.
land, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna kill you and the Palestinians. You Nazi, you son of a shit. Hand for that, hand for that. This is my land. God gave it to me. Fuck you. Hand for that. Nazi. Call everyone you want. Bastard. This is my house. This is my land. God gave it to me. And fuck you.
All right, this dude is a certified dickhead, and should have got punched in the face. Oh my God, this is such a horror. This is a horrific look. But you can't blame everyone for dickheads because this dickhead's on both sides.
Who are betraying the Palestinians is the whole Muslim world. They're all gutless and cowardly, the whole damn lot of them. All of the leaders of the Muslim nations, they should be all putting pressure on Israel. And the first thing they should do is expel the ambassador of Israel from all of the nations. South Africa has done it, and some of the South American nation has done it. There isn't one, to my knowledge, there isn't one single Muslim nation that hasn't expelled the Israeli ambassador. And until they start doing that, I'm afraid that Israel are going to act with impunity, act with state terrorism, and keep killing people on a daily basis. Major people who are betraying the Palestinians.
Oh shit. What the fuck? Jesus. Oh my god. Oh my lord. Bro, why is this is one This is 100% going to lead to war, causing Israeli billions of dollars worth of damage. Many carriers have been attacked and damaged beyond repair, causing billions of dollars worth of. I don't wait. This can't be real. I mean, it literally says stock footage. This is not. There's no way. Right. This is stock footage, bruh. You tried it. Said don't cry later. This is gonna. If this is true. I mean, obviously, I think he just did stock footage because he didn't have actual footage of them killing or blowing up ships. But there was reported of a ship on fire. Yemen does not want that smoke, bro. It's not a good look. It's not good. Not good. I don't know what that is.
Yo, I'm here in Tel Aviv at the square hostage square. It's 5:30 in the morning. You know what's crazy? Is that if this was anywhere else in the world, it would be vandalized, which is so fucking ridiculous that all these posters and all this, people would rip this down. And the poster ripping doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't bring anybody home, but it's such a fucking slap in the face. It's so embarrassing, especially for my city, New York. It's embarrassing that people have been doing that. Really is fucking embarrassing. It's people ripping down posters of children that have been missing.
Wait, have they been doing that in Tel Aviv? I know they've been doing it around the world, but it's still fucking reprehensible regardless. It's fucking evil. RAF admits to making 17 military flights to Israel since Gaza bombing began. What have they been doing? Hold on, first of all, in what way have the RAF helped Israel? You know, that state that likes to burn and blow kids to little bits. RAF admits that there's no shot this is real. British A400 military transport aircraft flew to Tel Aviv on Wednesday. So, helping them, let me see. RAF admits to 17 flights to Israel. An MOD spokesperson told Declassified the RAF has operated 17 flights to Tel Aviv in order to support the UK's diplomatic engagement in country as well as assist with departure of British nationals. Stop the misinformation and the bullshit. Oh my God. It literally says in the article. diplomatic engagement in country as well as to assist with the departure of British nationals. Like y'all really be trying it, bro. Y'all really be trying it. Y'all be trying it. Like why? Why lie? Why lie? Wait, where's my screenshots? Nope. Where's my screenshots? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I didn't save it. That's why. There we go. Like literally, wake up. Whoa! In the heart of Gaza, Hamas leader declares not just in West Bank or Gaza, but in every city worldwide. You know what I wanted to look up? I wanted to look up why are there settlements in the West Bank? Yes, settlements. Okay. Yes. What is Israeli policy on the matter? I'm curious. Okay. I know what settlements are. While Israeli settlements previously existed in Sinai and the Gaza Strip prior to Israel's withdrawal from those territories, um, today the term is largely used to refer to Israeli settlement communities in the West Bank, also known as Judea and Samaria. There are 33 settlements with registered residents. Ariel has the largest Arab population of the settlements with 573 Arab residents. Several others include Mal, Adumin, Kfar Etzion, and Giv At Zev. Have a few dozen. Okay, but why? Legal status under Israeli law. Legal settlements must be built on state land, have building permits from the government, and be established by a government resolution. Settlements that do not meet these criteria are West Bank outposts, which are illegal under Israeli law. Most of the world also considers settlements to be illegal under international law. Okay. There are 451,700 Jews living in the West Bank settlements as of the year 2020. Between 20,000 and 30,000 more live in legal West Bank outposts. All settlements are located in Area C, the 60% of the West Bank controlled by Israel. Given that Israel has not annexed the West Bank, Jewish settlements in the territory are not considered by Israel to be under its sovereignty. Emergency regulations renewed every 5 years extend Israeli criminal and some civil law to Israeli citizens in the West Bank. Today, 1/3 of settlers are Haredim. 1/3. Okay, I don't want to know what they are. I want to know why. In allowing and encouraging the establishment of Jewish communities in the West Bank, a disputed territory over which Israel does not exercise sovereignty, the Israeli government's initial priority was security. By placing Israeli civilians in certain areas to solidify Israel's control, Israel sought to ensure that the territory's political future would be consistent with the country's perceived security needs. A civilian settler population could also act as the first line of defense against an invasion. Under this approach, Israel designated certain strategic regions of the West Bank for Jewish settlement, while initially forbidding the establishment of civilian communities in more heavily populated areas. Over time, Messianic religious Zionist ideology developed as a significant driver of the settlement movement based on a notion of religious imperative for Jews to settle the entire land of Israel. Settlements established as part of the religious movement were often placed in religions or regions with a large Palestinian population in order to secure Jewish dominance over the territory, prevent a Palestinian state, and secure the entire West Bank for Israel. That is crazy, and this is from the Israeli policy form. So your outright goal of settlements of the West Bank is to prevent a Palestinian state and secure the entire West Bank for Israel. To delineate a future border between Israel and a Palestinian entity that reflects Israel's priorities, to disrupt the contiguity, I don't know, of Palestinian communities in the West Bank, especially along the central mountain range running north-south, to establish a significant Jewish population in parts of the West Bank, so that if annexed, it would not impart the demographic character of the state of Israel. In terms of settlers, personal reasons for living in the West Bank, 1/3 of Jews in the West Bank are motivated by religious ideology, while the rest are drawn to the region by potential to improve the quality of life. Of the 127 recognized settlements, 64 were established for religious reasons, while 63 were built with the motivation to provide a high quality of life. That is not legal. That's not okay either. That's crazy. This was after 67. Um, well, obviously, broadening Israel's footprint, settlements seek to secure Israel's control of the West Bank, not establishing a spatial. Wait, is this? Wait, hold on. Okay, I don't know. I think I might have got debated, but this is also true. Settlements seek to secure Israel's control over the West Bank by establishing spatial dominance over the territory, disrupting Palestinian contiguity. The settlement enterprise aims to break the contiguity of Palestinian population centers in the West Bank, making it harder to create a viable Palestinian state, undermining Palestinian trust. When the peace process was active, Israeli government approval of settlement construction in disputed territories whose status was said to be determined through negotiations, eroded Palestinians' trust in Israel as an honest negotiating partner and cash debt. Okay. Um, Signifying an entrenchment of Israel's presence in the West Bank, the continued growth of West Bank settlements and their normalization in Israeli society, stoke doubt among Israelis and Palestinians that a two-state argument is possible. Settlements in the West Bank require protection from the IDF, as do the roads connecting them and linking them to Israel. This requires a massive deployment of troops to protect civilians in a territory whose majority population is hostile to them. Over one half of active IDF soldiers are stationed in the West Bank, 80% of whom are defending settlements and ensuring the security, not fighting terrorism, and helping to keep Israel itself secure. Settlers are too often the target of and perpetrators of violence against Palestinians, particularly those living in the ideological settlements deep in the West Bank. Yeah. Um. Oh my God, that's a lot of fucking violence. Okay, so it's still a majority of Palestinians. Jews are the majority. Wait, what? 85.2% of West Bank. Oh, oh, this is Jerusalem. It's not good. That's crazy. What I want to see too. Um, no, I just want to go to the website. I don't want to. I want to know more about it. U.S. policy options for post-Hamas Gaza. We work to shape the discourse and mobilize support among American Jewish leaders and U.S. policymakers for the realization of a viable two-state outcome. We do this by educating political and community. Okay, so I thought this was Israeli, like Israeli, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the Israeli government. We are deeply troubled by the Israeli government's order that allows its citizens to establish a permanent presence in the Homesh outpost in the northern West Bank, which, according to Israeli law, was legally built on private Palestinian land. This order is inconsistent with both former Prime Minister Sharon's written commitment to the Bush administration in 2004 and the current Israeli government's commitments to the Biden administration. Advancing Israeli settlements in the West Bank is an obstacle to the achievement of a two-state solution. We are also concerned about today's provocative visit to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem and the accompanying inflammatory rhetoric. This holy space should not be used for political purposes, and we can call on all parties to respect its sanctity. More broadly, we affirm the long-standing U.S. position in support of the historic status quo of Jerusalem's holy site and underline Jordan's special role as custodian of Muslim holy sites in Jerusalem. Jordan's special role as custodian. Okay. Okay. And this was a press statement in May 21st of this year. This is Israeli IRF burning down Gaza's food and water supply, preventing aid from reaching starving children.
אנחנו מדליקים את האור נגד המקום החשוך הזה ושורפים אותו עד שלא יישאר פה זכר לכל המקום הזה. הרגע מצאנו פיר ענק ממש קרוב לכאן מעבר לפינה. פיר שמשמש לוגיסטית את כל הפירים הנוראים.
I don't know what they're saying. I don't speak Hebrew. Oh my God. Bro. Destroying vehicles and infrastructure in Jenin. Watching what Israel does is like watching the mentally disturbed in action. Hold on. What is happening? Brave female Israel soldiers are also capable of protecting their country from Hamas terrorists and support of Hamas terrorists. I don't think this guy's a Hamas terrorist. I don't know what he's trying to do, but Israel staged the footage of Palestinian men surrendering weapons. It's time to expose. They staged it? Okay.
Laid out on a dirty hospital floor while doctors tried to save her life but couldn't, and she took her last. Enough is enough. I just watched a video of a little girl about the same exact age as my daughter splayed out on a dirty hospital floor while doctors tried to save her life but couldn't, and she took her last breaths. I watched her mother grieve over her body, trying to lift her little head and give her a kiss. If you are a parent and you do not see your children in every single one of those kids, I can't help you. And that is why I don't waste a single fucking moment arguing, debating, giving civil debate to the people who are supporting this. Why? Because at this point, I hate you. At this point, the Israel is irredeemable. And at this point, I'm ready to every single waking moment of my fucking life to make sure that Palestine is free. Enough. Enough is enough.
Easy to make videos like this. How about taking a flight to Palestine? Grabbing a gun, fighting for what you believe in. Here's my thing though, and I sympathize. I don't want any bombing. Bombing should stop. But something was gonna be done after what happened on October 7th. And it was looking at the government in Israel, it was gonna be the most extreme thing. Hamas knew this. They don't care. Like if I punch the strongest, toughest, biggest guy in my class and he beats the shit out of me, that I have to go to the hospital. Whose fault is it? It's mine. And I'm not arguing that children need to die or should die, but you have to realize that at the very least, this wasn't started by Israel. Yes, their options thus far has been reprehensible. You can just start bombing children, but there was going to be a response, and you had to have known what it would be, because Israel, the ruling party is very right wing and very anti-Palestine. Israel killed 86 Palestinian journalists since October 86. What is happening here, brother? Israeli police attacks anti-Zionist Jews. If you are a religious Jew in Jerusalem or a Jew who supports Palestine and opposes Zionism, protesting, then this will happen to you. Wait. IDF? Israeli police attack anti-Zionist Jews. These are police? These are police. This looked like a bunch of Arab dudes beating the fuck out of some Hasidic Jews. That's what it looked like. Okay. I don't want to take it at face value, but that's what it seems like.
Who are true to the Torah around the world have always been opposed to Zionism, to the state of Israel, because it's antithetical to our belief to have a Jewish state at all. Now that the state of Israel has been created in 1948 in Palestine by occupying another people's land, oppressing the entire people, and the continuation of killing and stealing the land is in total violation of not only human rights violations and international norms, but it also goes against the very basics of Jewish belief. So we are out here to stand in sympathy with the people who suffer in Palestine, and to say that everything that Israel does to the Palestinians is illegitimate, goes against the Jewish religion. The only solution is to bring hopefully a peaceful dismantlement to the state of Israel, which is the obstacle to peace, because prior to the creation of the state of Israel, there was peace. Jews who have...
Prior to the creation of the state of Israel, there was not peace. It wasn't. I really want to hop into some debate. I think that's enough Twitter. Of course they have no evidence to impeach Joe Biden. Come on now. What? True. This is 100% true. It's the investigation itself. It's like the Trump investigation. Even though it seemed like he did have something to do with Russian collusion, the fact that the State Department investigates it almost gives legitimacy to the rumor. Same thing with the emails and all the other stuff. What? Oh my God. Oh my God. Matt Gaetz gets surprised at Strongsville GOP Christmas party with award for allegedly having sex with underage girls. Oh my God. There's no shot. There's no shot. This is just a picture. I don't know why it took so long to load. This is the video. That's crazy. That is crazy. Here we go. Piers
Welcome back to
Morgan.
Uncensored. My next guest has been a GP with the NHS for 25 years, working as a mentor for recently qualified doctors at his surgery in Harrow, northwest London. Dr. Wahid Azif Shader has another less wholesome identity as leader of an Islamic extremist group, which was recently caught on camera calling for jihad at an anti-Israel demonstration.
What is the solution to liberate people in the concentration camp called Palestine? Jihad! What is the solution?
Dr. Shader, also known as Abdul Wahid, joins me now. Well, welcome to you. Thank you for coming in today. You've come from your work as an NHS GP.
Actually calling for jihad openly in public on the streets of wherever that is, probably the UK. Yeah, in the UK, is sick. It is sick.
Let me first just ask you your reaction to the clip we just played. These are members of your organization and they're allowed chants of jihad on the
Hizb ut Tahrir group. Hizb ut Tahrir. International pan-Islamic and Islamic fundamentalist political organization whose stated aim is the reestablishment of the Islamic Caliphate to unite the Muslim community and implement Sharia globally. So this is a this is basically ISIS. They're calling for an Islamic state and a global implementation of Sharia law. This is, I mean, I don't know if they've ever done any terrorist operations, but their stated goal is probably antithetical to most of the Western world. 1953 as a political organization in then Jordan-controlled Jerusalem by Taqi al-Din al-Nabhani, an Islamic scholar from Haifa who was educated in Egypt and served as a qadi in mandatory Palestine. So he's Palestinian. Or okay. His aim is unification of all Muslim countries over time in a unitary Islamic state or caliphate headed by a caliph elected by Muslims. This, it holds, is an obligation decreed by God, warning that Allah will punish those Muslims who neglected this duty. Once established, the caliphate will expand into non-Muslim areas through invitation and through military jihad. Oh my God. So as to expand the land of Islam, and diminish the land of unbelief. To achieve its objective, HT seeks to gain the leadership of the Islamic community so that the community will accept it as her leader. To implement Islam upon her and proceed with it in her struggle against the kuffar and in the work towards the return of the Islamic State. Uh, huh. So why didn't these people go fight with ISIS? Why didn't they go fight with ISIS? ISIS was literally an Islamic State. Why didn't they go fight with them? Let me see. Methods, right? Um, Political militants. South Asia, the MENA region, Southeast Asian, Sub-Saharan Africa. Okay, so it says global grassroots. Founding, seeking support from an influential faction to assume power. Uh, Two failed coup attempts in Jordan, allegedly. Two failed coup attempts in Jordan and Syria. Several coup attempts having failed. Um, Failed a coup attempt in Egypt. The founder died in Lebanon in 1977. Declares that the Muslims have reached a state of total surrender and despair and are not responding to its call. Party leadership states that although seeking Nusra is vital, members should remember that the attainment of power also depends upon gaining popular support. Um, Start of party moving away from a strict nonviolent stance. Internal dispute known as the redress. Um, Party works to ignite the Syrian revolution, heavily investing in hoping that the revolutionary fighters will unite under HT's Islamic umbrella. Okay, so I guess they did work with ISIS. Okay.
The streets of London. Do you think that's acceptable?
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah. That demonstration was a very carefully planned demonstration where the placards, the banners, the speeches from the platform were calling for a military intervention of official armies of Muslim countries to rescue the people of Gaza, with a situation of a civilian population of 2 million who are being massacred and slaughtered. Anywhere else in the world, you would find it a completely straightforward thing for people calling for military intervention.
But they weren't chanting, we want military intervention. They were chanting jihad. So my question for you is simply, do you support the chanting of jihad?
The chanting of jihad by somebody that unscripted.
Of course he does, Piers. I love that Piers always asks, do you support this? But do you support this? But we need to know, do you support this? That's what he always focuses on, and people always dodge it.
Well, quite a few people there.
Actually, no. It's about 2 people.
So you would condemn that?
Of course, I wouldn't condemn that.
You wouldn't?
No, because jihad in that context is as they understood it, and they were chanting, is for the official armies of Muslim countries to enter and intervene. We're in a situation now, Piers, where 1% of the population of Gaza has been killed in the space of 2 months. 1% of the children of Gaza have been killed. Anywhere else in the world, you yourself called for military intervention in Ukraine by NATO with probably less legal and moral cause than there is in Gaza. When we stand...
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Because
So you think when Vladimir Putin illegally invaded Ukraine, the moral right of Ukrainians to respond is somehow equivalent to the moral right of people in Palestine after October the 7th to do the same. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that the people of Ukraine have actually one of the most powerful armies in the region.
That's not true.
Doesn't change the fact they were illegally invaded, does it, Doctor?
The people of Gaza have nobody helping them.
Well, they do. They have Hamas. They have a terror.
Nobody helping them.
Hang on. They have a terrorist organization called Hamas.
They have nobody helping
They've got 30,000 terrorists.
They have.
Who committed on October the 7th
They
an
have
act of
lined up
unspeakable
against them.
terrorism.
They have lined up against them the murderous Israeli Defense Force. They have lined up against them the United States, who this week, today in the Washington Post, it was said that the white...
Okay, I have to say, America is not against Palestinians. We need to stop this narrative. People keep pushing it, and I'm tired of hearing it. The Palestinian government got $600 million from America in 2020. Or was it 2022? $600 million in aid. Hold that. Have it. Free of charge. Does that sound like someone that's anti-Palestinian?
Phosphorus that's being used by the IDF is supplied by them. They have lined up against them the Britain and the EU. They have lined up against them the Arab rulers in the region who carry on their trade cooperation.
Listen, as I've made clear, Doctor, I think a lot of the response from Israel, particularly right now, I would deem to be testing everyone's sense of what is proportionate. Right? There's no question. I do not subscribe to the view it's genocide. Well,
that is the understatement of the century.
Possibly, but I think they have a right to defend themselves against a terror group who have gone on record in the last 2 weeks as saying they want to do what happened on October 7th again and again.
Children of
I
Gaza.
understand. It's horrific. It's horrific.
It's beyond horrific.
Well, it's horrific,
because
right?
literally what we are watching on our phones, on our laptops, on our TVs, is an extension of what's been happening since 1948.
But let me play you your reaction. All right, I understand. Let me play you, after October the 7th, a few days later, you took part in a talk on YouTube and you said this.
Brave Mujahideen, they gave the enemy a punch on the nose. All right? And it's a very welcome punch on the nose.
Want to become an amazing content creator? You should use motion arrays, templates, motion graphics, presets, plug.
How can you categorize a terror attack in which 1,200 mostly innocent civilian people were brutally attacked, raped, tortured, beheaded, and murdered? How can you, a British NHS doctor or NHS doctor in Britain, how can you say that's a welcome punch on the nose?
Will you let me answer fully?
Yes.
I will be frank. I'll
Answer
be
the
as
question.
concise as I can be, but if you give me the courtesy of letting me answer fully.
Okay.
I will defend the right of the Palestinians to resist an occupation. When you look at that...
That's not resistance, that's terrorism.
When you look at what happened and the 7th of October, as if that is the day that everything started...
I didn't say that.
You didn't say that, but when people look at
Do you think what happened that day was a terrorist attack?
When people look...
Do you?
You know, the word terrorism has become so politicized.
Actually, not really.
The word
you can
terrorism...
be deeply sympathetic to the plight of Palestinian civilians, which I am, by the way, and have expressed many times. What you can't do is be weaselly-mouthed about what happened on October the 7th.
I asked you to
let me finish. That was a grotesque terror attack.
Ask you to finish.
Yeah, but you're equivocating about it being a terror attack.
I'm not equivocating, and I will explain why, okay? The word terrorism, by the way, in India last month...
We're going to talk about India. Talk about what's happened
the word
here.
terrorism in India, people who supported the Australian cricket team have been arrested under terrorist offences. In the West Bank, people who are have been told, if you reveal what happened in the prisons, you will be arrested on terrorist charges.
Do you think what happened on October the 7th was a terror attack?
It's a
Did you say no?
It's a resistance.
Not a terror attack?
Piers, and it's
You're NHS GP.
If, I'm asking you to let me finish, right, our Islamic standard in conflict, in warfare, our Prophet, peace be upon him, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, you can't kill children, you can't kill women, you can't kill the elderly, you can't mutilate.
Hamas did all that.
Hamas did literally all of that. All of that was done by Hamas. The Prophet said, don't do any of these things, and they said, nah. We're going to do it anyway. So how can you justify that when you literally given a response that shows that it's the opposite of what the prophet would have wanted?
I say if because
they literally broadcast it on their own streaming platforms.
And well, I'll tell you what a lot of us saw.
Hamas broadcast it merrily to the world. And here's us doing these terrible things.
Here's what he's about to say. I'm going to call it right now. Here's what we saw. We saw a people that has been put down for years and generations finally stand up against their oppressors.
What do you mean if? What many of us saw on that day were videos coming out showing people saying, we will not harm women, we will not harm children.
Do me a favor.
No, that's what...
Doctor.
I'm saying that. Resistance is a right in Islam. It's a right in international law. It's even a right that Churchill said in his History of the English-Speaking Peoples, that is, he actually wrote in that book, it is a primary right of men to kill and die for the land they live in.
You literally read me a description of what people who follow Islam are not supposed to do. Yeah. And Hamas did all of those things. But your response is to say, well, hang on, I've seen videos of them saying, we don't want to do that stuff.
No, yes.
I find that pretty offensive, Doctor.
We
all know they did it because they boasted to the world with their own videos what they were doing.
I find it amazing that respected journalists like yourself have seemed to have suspended their critical faculties.
No, I'm believing what Hamas wanted me to see.
Well, you're believing what you saw.
What Hamas themselves broadcast to the world because they wanted to take great glee in what they've done. There's no ambiguity about it.
I asked you to let me finish, and I'm going to...
You've got to answer questions.
I will answer the question. Let's agree on a principle. If atrocities were committed, right, I will never condone them, right? I will say that.
So do you condemn what happened on October the 7th?
If atrocities are committed, you know who's responsible?
What do you mean if? They were.
Who's responsible for it then?
So you don't condemn it?
Okay. Who is responsible?
Well, the Jews brought it on themselves.
No, actually, I would say more than that. I would say the powers that believe that Israel should be a colony for themselves in the Middle East, they are the ones responsible.
Do you know what? I'm really struggling. I've got to be honest with you.
They're responsible for what happened because they decided to push for a nation of Jews. They brought it on themselves. By that logic, the Arabs that were expelled and killed during the Nakba, they brought it on themselves for thinking they could live alongside Jews and also go to war with them. Get out. And it's perfectly fine because, hey, they brought it on themselves. Why can you not call out horrific things that happen on either side? I could say the Nakba was horrible. Any expelling, any murder, any atrocities was horrible. I can also say October 7th was horrible. Why can you killing, bombing children and non-combatants is horrible. You can name these things as horrible and still support your side. It is not okay because I support this side, everything they do is okay. Because I support this side, everything they do is okay. And then when someone goes to a pro-Palestinian person, so what about October 7th? You don't go, well, they were freedom fighters. And when you're pro-Israel and people go, so what about all the settlements on the West Bank? Well, that's our land. Like, no, you can say settlements are bad. I don't agree with it. You can say Hamas is horrible. We need new government. Simple. Why can you not just call it out?
With you, I'm really struggling. A British National Health Service doctor of 25 years, a man who's supposed to be seeing patients all day, every day and putting them right, is incapable of saying what happened when it was...
We already did the research. He's incapable because his group is literally a jihadist group. They're literally calling for jihad. They're calling for all Arab nations, Muslim nations to come together under one caliphate like the Islamic State and impose Sharia law on the entire world. Sharia law on the entire world. That is what they call for. That's what his group right here, his Tahrir. That is what they call for. Islamic fundamentalist political organization whose stated aim is the reestablishment of an Islamic caliphate to unite the Muslim community and implementation Sharia law globally. That is what they want. This is their stated goal. That has not changed ever, and it will not change.
Literally broadcast to the world by a terror group. Nor do you think they're terrorists. You think it's resistance. You seem to want to go any way to justify it. You don't even believe what they showed us with their own technology. And I'm just curious. Do you think any of this is compatible with you being a doctor in the National Health Service?
You don't have to be a doctor.
Do your patients know that you believe these things?
You don't have to be a doctor to care for the lives of 2 million people in Gaza. You don't have to be a doctor.
I'm concerned about whether your patients here in this country, where Hamas are a prescribed terrorist organization.
And I've said,
whether listening to this interview,
said to you,
do these patients know your
I
views?
have said to you.
Do they know your views?
I don't talk to my patients about my views in a 10-minute consultation, do I? Nobody does that. It's just a foolish question, isn't it? That's a foolish question. Yeah. Nobody talks to.
Why do you use a different name?
I use my name.
Well, you don't. You have two names. One, the leader of the group.
Yeah. Abdul Wahid is a name that family, friends, and other people call me.
Right.
Actually, even some people.
But that's not the name you use at work, right?
Even some people at work. And Wahid Asif Shader is my legal name, which people use in other forums. That's not a very unusual
In May 2023, a
Piers,
prominent...
no, I have to... No,
I'm going to ask you another question.
You did not give me the courtesy
You know
of letting
why?
me
Because
finish.
your answers were so outrageous.
You censor. That's your answer.
No.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
censor. The person doing the censoring is you.
No,
with
you
respect,
are censoring.
Who wants me to try and understand and believe that what Hamas showed us, boasted about, with their own technology, broadcasting it to the world, was not what we saw. That's called censorship.
Well,
that is actually the purest personification of censoring the truth I've ever encountered.
When you bring Mark Regev onto the show, and you question him, lightweight questioning, albeit lightweight questioning about the atrocities that have happened.
Well, you think it's lightweight. I actually ask you difficult questions.
Actually, you don't ask difficult questions. Yeah, you completely accept. You sit there and listen to the most ridiculous explanations.
Unlike you and your answers, you mean?
Well, you don't give me the chance to say.
No, I've heard your answers.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I have.
You didn't.
I have.
You didn't.
You don't? Well, okay, let's do a little quick fire.
You're telling the answer.
Let's do a little quick fire recap. Do you think Hamas are a terror group?
I believe it's a resistance organization.
Okay. Do you think what they did on October the 7th was a terror attack?
I believe that if civilians got killed on that day, it is appalling. It is appalling.
You're a doctor, man.
That's a no.
You're a doctor in the NHS. What do you mean if? 1,200 people got massacred.
And 1% of the population.
I can share your concerns about what's happened.
You know you don't.
Oh no, I do.
No,
I do.
16 years. 16
I cannot
years
believe a doctor is saying the word
16.
If people got victims of atrocity. If on October the 7th. How can you say that?
So what? You tell me this. What is a proportionate response to 16 years of
let's
living in a
focus.
cage?
No.
What is a proportionate response?
Not a terror attack.
What is
not
it?
Not a terror attack.
If they just attacked IDF.
Yeah, I've asked many times. What is proportionate?
Here's the proportionate. Here's the real response. Okay, here it is. I'll give it to you. Here's what you do. You come to the table. You talk to the United States. You come to the table and you come up with an actual actionable plan for separating the land and getting rid of the settlements. You actually come to the table with an actionable plan instead of just saying, okay, we're going to cause terror attacks. We're going to keep shooting rockets into at Israel that get blocked by the Iron Dome. How about actually looking for a solution? Arafat was given 97% or 98% of the West Bank and 100% of Gaza as actionable Palestine. He said no. So what? Well, and then missiles continue to come from Gaza. Can you stop? This is the real solution here. But no one wants to actually solve the issues. They just want to fight eternally. This is 70 or so years of the same thing. A plan is brought to the Palestinians. They say no. Continue with terrorist attacks. Eventually, it led to a massive attack. And now Israel is done. And they're just wiping the slate clean. Is it okay? No. But I am more sympathetic to the Israeli position than I am Palestinian position, because if they had agreed to the plan in 2008 or in 2000, we wouldn't be having this conversation. October 7th wouldn't have happened. It's just simple as that. And if it did, for whatever reason, if it did, it would be the fault of Israel. If settlements continued, if discrimination continued, if the airspace over Palestine was still controlled, if the ports were blocked, if there was still a blockade, this would be on Israel. But we can't talk about that. It's a hypothetical at this point because the Palestinians have never agreed to any solution brought to the table.
So do you accept that? So you're saying just to attack the IDF would have been acceptable?
I personally do not believe...
Answer that.
I'm answering
just
this.
To
Let me answer your
IDF
question.
Acceptable.
I'm going to say this.
We might be able to agree.
I think the strategy at the moment...
Can we answer
Let
that?
me answer the question.
If they had agreed.
Let me answer the question. Let me answer the question.
Yes or no? If they had just attacked military targets, acceptable?
My view of what they're doing is I don't think it's going to work. I don't think the IDF is going to eradicate Hamas. And if that is the mission statement, and in the process, they kill tens of thousands of innocent men, women, and children, if they do that, I think they will radicalize an entire new generation and make it worse. That's my honest view of what I'm now witnessing. But let me come back to
that's why.
Hang on.
That's why when we talk about a military intervention, it's actually what we want.
But Doctor, what happened on October 7th wasn't a military intervention.
No.
It was a terror attack.
What we want as a military
and you don't even think it happened. Do you?
What we want is a military intervention from Muslim armies to rescue a beleaguered people and replace an apartheid system.
People have to be given the same human rights.
Would you do me the respect?
They have to be given. No, I will interrupt you. It's not your show. You don't just talk forever. Well, right?
What's the point of asking?
I'm going to tell you what I think about the Palestinian plight, which I've talked about many times. You've obviously missed it. I think they should be given the same human rights as everybody else,
and
particularly the same rights of the Israelis. I think it's been a 75-year conflict with
conflict.
Yes, a conflict. Yes, a conflict.
Where people have been driven out of their homes.
A conflict.
750,000 people in the Nakba.
It's wrong. That was wrong.
Encroaching on the West Bank more and more and more.
That was wrong. No. So have been all the wars launched against Israel. That's been wrong. All of it is wrong. Right? The history shows this is a conflict riddled with wrongs on both sides, right?
7th of October.
No, it didn't. I never said it did.
Well, you seem to.
No, you don't even think it happened on October the 7th.
The framing of your debate
you don't even think it happened.
I do think it happened.
Oh, you did happen. It did happen. 1,200 people were massacred,
I think 1,200 people were killed.
Were they massacred?
Yeah, they were killed.
Right, by terrorists?
They were killed by people who were resisting an occupation.
Bullshit.
And
they're terrorists.
Yeah, well, that's your view.
It is my view.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's the view of any person who is not Israeli or Palestinian, right? Anyone can look at it and go...
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. One man, have you not heard the adage, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter? Have you never heard that?
Bullshit.
Have you never heard that?
Let me just play... I want to just read you this. In May 2023, Luqman Makim, who's a prominent member of your organisation, called for an end to the secular order so that, quotes, the UK will no longer be able to pump its liberal filth, its LGBT filth, its feminist filth into the heart of the Muslim world. Do you agree with him?
I agree that the West is pumping secular democracy into the Muslim world. And
Doing LGBT filth?
I agree that actually what we want to see in the Muslim world is a system with an accountable government, right? An elected leader, upholding family values, right? We want to see an economic system where wealth is circulated.
Do you believe in equal rights for gay people?
I believe that actually the Islamic standard of law should be the standard of law in the country. Obviously, that's the standard I believe in.
Sharia law. Sharia law. We want Sharia law. If you are gay, you'll probably be beheaded. I'm gonna keep it real with you. If you're a woman and you think, oh, I'm a feminist or I'm gonna go to college, nah, you're gonna stay home. You're gonna raise these kids. You're gonna cook my dinner.
View of homosexuality.
I believe homosexuality is a sin.
A sin is wrong.
Sin.
So when gay people come to your practice, do you treat them?
Oh, of course.
Why?
Because I treat all my patients with kindness and without
discrimination. Do you tell them you think what they do is a sin?
What an absurd thing to say.
Why wouldn't you be
Why would I say that? Why would I say that? Because they don't come.
Why don't you try going back to your surgery tomorrow?
They don't come to me.
Why don't you go to surgery tomorrow and say, before we go any further to your patients, I want you to know what I think. I think that I agree with the guy who said that this country is full of LGBT filth, feminist filth. I don't think Hamas are a terror group. I don't think what they did on October the 7th was a terrorist.
Pierce is doing the most here. When I go to get treated by my doctor, I don't care what he believes in. He could be the biggest Trump supporter, Islamic supporter, whatever supporter. As long as he treats me fairly and he treats my ailments, it doesn't matter.
Sorry. And by the way, do you want me now to treat you?
Do you understand what?
I don't understand any of that.
Professional integrity is.
You think that's professional integrity?
No, I think professional integrity is treating the people I treat with respect and with kindness.
How do I know you
fairness. Well, they know I do.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
Do they know you think they're filth?
I didn't say that they're filth.
You agreed with what he said?
I didn't agree with what he said.
You said, I agree.
No, I agree.
I can play the tape back if you like.
I agree with the fact that the Muslim world should have the Islamic system. Yeah, I didn't say I agree with it. I don't use words.
So just the Muslim world. And in that case, then you don't believe what your group's known goal is to implement Sharia law globally. If you only want the Muslim world to implement Sharia law. That would still be encroaching on people's rights because not everyone in the Muslim world practices Sharia law.
You want full Sharia law for this country?
For this country, I'm working for, our group works for Islam, the restoration of Islam in the Muslim world.
What about here?
We work to uphold Islamic values in our personal life and in the Muslim community.
What about, do you want Sharia law here or not?
I would love, you know what?
You'd love it?
No, I tell you what. In this last 2 months, one of the strangest things has been...
Bro, keep it real. You would love if it was Sharia law here. That's your goal, to expand Sharia law globally. That's your entire stated goal of your group.
Where people here have been looking at the people in Gaza, and they've been going and looking and reading the Quran, and they've been looking at it. And I'd invite you and your audience to do that.
Just to clarify,
I would do that. And
just
they,
clarify,
and
you would
they
like Sharia law here,
and they are not convinced by these neocon
would you like Sharia law here?
And caricatures of Islam, are they?
Actually, I don't think
people.
All I've done is ask you straightforward questions.
Yeah.
You've revealed your beliefs in the answers.
No.
Yeah, you have. You may not even realize what you've done, but you have.
I believe in Islamic law, and I don't believe in the caricature that you try and present of Islam.
Would you like Sharia law in this country?
I would love to see you want Sharia law in this country.
I don't want Sharia law in this country.
Well, that's your wish.
So you would?
Yeah, but no.
Would you?
I believe it's the best system, but I'm not working.
Would you like it in this country?
I'm not working.
Yes or no?
I believe in Islamic.
Yes or no?
You know the Islamic civilization.
Yes or no?
Was the only civilization.
You've been very quick to answer everything else. Yes or no?
The Islamic civilization was the only civilization that brought peace to the Middle East for Muslims, Jews, and Christians. I would love to see that system there. Wouldn't you like to see a system?
Who pays your salary?
Wouldn't you like to see a system?
Who pays your salary?
Where Muslims, Jews, and Christians would live side by side in the Middle East? I don't want this country to live under
Sharia law.
It's not talking about this. I'm talking about the Middle East.
No, but you suggested you wanted it to be under Sharia law here.
No, you suggested.
Do you or not?
You
do you or not? What's funny?
What's funny is your
answer the question.
Why? Just answer the question.
Because you know why it's funny.
Yes or no? You either do or you don't, right? I ask a question, the answer is yes or no. Why can't you say yes or no?
I believe in the Islamic system.
Would you like Sharia law in this country?
I would love.
Yes or no?
I would love to see you want.
No, answer the question. Never mind what I want. What do you want?
I want to see the Islamic system re-established.
Would you like Sharia law in this country? Last time I'm going to ask you.
If Sharia law,
yes or no?
If Sharia law means upholding family values, means looking after the poor,
means no gays, no feminists, i.e. women who get above themselves,
that's your caricature. No, that's your
I know what Sharia law wants.
Why do so many women become Muslim these days? Why do
they
so
want to
many
be
women
oppressed?
in the West?
Is that what you're going to tell me?
No. Why do so many?
Because they want to be oppressed.
Women in the world become Muslim these days.
I mean, a lot of them don't have a choice, do they? Like the women that live in Afghanistan after America pulled out. There was a whole big thing about how they were protesting and they were scared for how they were going to be treated. How like women that were going to college and girls that were going to school would be banned. You think they want that? They're trapped in a country that will literally probably throw them in jail or kill them or worse.
You tell me.
Well, you better ask them.
Well, why don't you tell me what you think?
They seem to find it something that attracts them, Islam.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Many women in the West become Muslim, and for some reason, they seem to like the fact that Islam...
Do you work with women doctors?
Yes, I do.
And how do they feel about your views on this?
I keep a very strict professional line between my...
Do they know what your views are? When they watch this, they're going to be surprised.
Some of them will know. Some
You'll be
of them
surprised.
Will know. Some of them will know, some of them will not know.
Okay. Doctor, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. You've been enlightening with your responses. You may not realize quite how enlightening, but you might find out when you see the reaction. But I appreciate you coming in. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. Bro. Piers is funny. How do you have a literal, like, I'm not even going to say, like, which of my pro-Palestinian guests expressed support? Oh, I've seen that, I think. I don't know. This is crazy. Piers is funny. I'm curious. Curious. I'm curious. There was another one. Oxford.
I do not do a podcast, UFC event. I don't do anything without using Alpha Brain.
Dr. Osman, thank you for joining us here at One Path Network. We've prepared a series of clips of Ben Shapiro addressing the Oxford Union, and we want to hear your thoughts on them.
Civilian casualties are a cost of war. There's a vast difference in moral scope between deliberately going into a civilian area and murdering everyone you can find and trying to kill a terrorist who is deliberately hiding beneath a civilian area, hiding their rockets in civilian areas, starving their own people. So my question is, do you believe that there is a moral difference between Hamas going into, for example, Kfar Aza and murdering entire families, and Israel attempting to target terrorists and accidentally hitting civilians?
So how would you respond to that?
Well, there's a number of claims being made there. I think the prime claim being made is about a false moral equivalence. And in fact, on that point, as a normative point, I would agree that it is not correct to morally equate between the targeting of civilians and the accidental or unintentional killing of civilians, what's called collateral damage. However, the application of that is completely warped in this case because the rest of the claims made are just that, they're empty claims. The idea that the IDF does not target civilians, the idea that the Palestinian resistance does target civilians, the idea that they use human shields, these are empty claims that are evidence-less. And we have to be
Wait.
Am I bugging?
Target civilians, the idea that the claims made are just that, they're empty claims. The idea that the IDF does not target civilians, the idea that the Palestinian resistance does target civilians, the idea that they use human shields, these are empty claims that are...
But it's true, bro. Why are we doing this, man? It's true. Hamas came into Israel proper, along their border, and murdered civilians. They targeted them. Specifically targeted them. Now, you can argue the IDF was targeting civilians. I don't think so. I think it was just an unintentional cost of continued warfare and trying to make sure that Hamas was beaten down like mentally and physically before an invasion. But you saying there's no equivalence is not true. They literally targeted civilians on October 7th. Literally.
Evidence-less. And we have to be very, very clear about that. Doesn't matter if you repeat a lie 50,000 times, it's still a lie. And in fact, the opposite is true. The idea that the IDF does not target civilians, people have been around long enough. The year 2000, the case of Muhammad al-Durra, the world saw that played out.
True, okay. If we're talking not just October 7th and the aftermath with the war and the attack on Gaza, the IDF has 100% target civilians. 100%. I give you one instance right off the top of my head. I keep putting a Q. Kafr Qasim massacre. Israeli Arab village of Kafr Qasim, situated on the Green Line, at that time the de facto border between Israel and the Jordanian West Bank, on October 29, 1956. It was carried out by the Israeli border police, who killed Arab civilians returning from work during a curfew of which they were unaware, imposed earlier in the day on the eve of the Sinai War. In total, 48 people died, of whom 19 were men, 6 were women, and 23 were children aged 8 to 17. Arab sources usually give the death toll as 49, as they include the unborn child of one woman. This is reprehensible. It is literally disgusting. And this is just one instance. There's many others of Israeli soldiers massacring and killing Palestinians for little to no reason. This had no reason at all. They were just returning home from work during a curfew that was imposed earlier in the day that they had no way of knowing was in place, and they murdered them. Lives were taken for no reason.
Screen. The case of 2014, 4 boys playing, 4 young children, 9 to 11 years old, 4 cousins playing soccer on the beach in Gaza. No military targets in sight. Journalist hotel nearby. The world saw that. Our journalist Shireen Abu Akla. Israel doesn't target civilians. 28 much. The humanitarian, the flotilla. There are numerous, and these are clear examples, right? When it comes to the case of what's happening now in Gaza, for instance, where you're just bombing everything, and this is the point, right? You can bomb anything in Gaza and say, Hamas did this. Bombing ambulances, Hamas was in the ambulance. Bombing a bakery, they were there. Bombing hospitals, Hamas was underneath the hospital. Where's your evidence? Literally, Israel. This is the remarkable nature of this situation. Israel can break every single rule of international law, of the rules of war, of basic morality, and just shoehorn Hamas into the picture somewhere, and they don't have to prove anything.
So recently there was a bombing of a refugee camp killing 400 civilians.
Absolutely.
Israel said that there was one commander in the camp. Is this evidence enough for you?
Look, first of all, there was no evidence. They haven't provided evidence that this person was there. But secondly, even if it was, the idea that you can kill hundreds of people, innocent people, because there's one person there who's let's say a military target, is ridiculous.
I mean, Israel is just following the United States game plan of civilian casualties are acceptable losses. You know how many drone strikes the U.S. carried out to take out Talibani and basically Talibani commanders in the Middle East during and after the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq? Hundreds, thousands, just left and right. At weddings, in civilian centers, left and right. They were just killing them wholesale, just to target 1 or 2 individuals. This is the game plan for
according to which moral calculus is that right?
Israel and the United States.
And this is why people have raised very, very valid questions. If that was in Jaffa, in Tel Aviv, they wouldn't do that. You wouldn't bomb a hospital in Tel Aviv, killing 500 people, or a shopping center, or a school, because there was 1 or 2 people that are targets in that. This is the point, that human beings have to stand up, and they are standing up as human beings, saying this is completely unacceptable.
Which part of Palestine is occupied?
The entirety of Palestine, but
There we go.
I'm not
Thank you
calling
once
for
again.
the destruction of Jews.
I appreciate you expressing your full genocidal intent for the Jewish people living between the river
Why
and
is it genocidal?
So how do you counter that?
we're being told that free Palestine from the river to the sea means genocide of the Jews. That's a horrendous inference. Many of the Jews that came to Israel when it was established and afterwards are migrants. They immigrated there, right? When we're talking about giving the land back to the Palestinians, this is a matter of a transfer of authority, political sovereignty, right? It's not saying anything about the people. Yes, of course, now there are millions of Jews that live there, and there are millions of Palestinians that should be given back their land. That shouldn't be controversial.
Hold on, I didn't get to hear that part.
It's not saying.
This is the most replayed part.
The entire
saying this is completely unacceptable.
Which part of Palestine is occupied?
The entirety of Palestine. But
There we go.
I'm not
Thank you
calling
once
for
again.
the destruction of Jews.
I
I'm
appreciate
calling-
I appreciate you expressing your full genocidal intent
Why-
for the Jewish people living between the river
Why
and
is
the sea.
it genocidal?
So how do you counter that?
We're being told that free Palestine from the river to the sea means genocide of the Jews. That's a horrendous inference. Many of the Jews that came to Israel when it was established and afterwards are migrants. They immigrated there, right? When we're talking about giving the land back to the Palestinians, this is a matter of a transfer of authority, political sovereignty, right? It's not saying anything about the people. Yes, of course, now there are millions of Jews that live there, and there are millions of Palestinians that should be given back their land. That shouldn't be controversial. So what's going to be done? Doesn't mean killing. Claiming of victimhood and the pain.
It does mean killing. Stop the cap. It means killing. It means, okay, it means killing to some people. Some people water it down. Some people don't believe this. But the overwhelming majority believe from the river to the sea means massacring all settlers, all occupiers within Palestine and former mandatory Palestine, including, but not limited to, Israel proper. If you say otherwise, you're just being untruthful and literally just warping reality, because it is the truth that the people that spout this rhetoric want all Israelis gone and Palestinians to have their land back. It's the fact.
Of others as monsters is what's being done here. Oh, you deny our right to exist. You want to eradicate Israel. No, I want to dismantle an occupation. What else do you do with occupations? What else do you do with oppressors and tyrants? So I think this is what.
Because if anyone really wanted to, if anyone's real goal, like stated goal, was from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, let's get rid of the occupation in that sense, that meaning get rid of the occupation, then you can push for that. You can say that. How about agreeing to the deal that was proposed in 2008 or was it 2000, where Palestinians got 98% of the West Bank, all of Gaza? What's the issue there? Is that 2% the issue? The Temple Mount, I think it was a large percentage of Jerusalem. Like, what is the issue? Agree to the damn goal, and then you would, like, literally right now, I think it's like, what, 70% of the West Bank is occupied? How about agree to the previous goal, and there would be barely any settlements in the West Bank, but instead people don't.
We need to unpack the propaganda and really respond and explain the facts and the truths as they are.
Your entire claim is that the Arabs did not reject peace, and then in your own disquisition, you admitted that the Arabs rejected the Peel Commission plan, which was a separation between the Jews and the Arabs, which gave an extraordinary amount of land to the Arabs. The Arabs then rejected the peace partition plan proposed by the United Nations in 1947. They then proceeded to reject the Oslo Accords in 93. After that, they rejected the Wye River Accords in 98. They rejected Ehud Barak's very generous offer in 2000.
This is the other big part of the propaganda narrative. Israel's always wanted peace with the Arabs. The Arabs have never wanted peace. But you've come here, kicked people out, occupied the land, and then wanted to do peace negotiations.
Okay, but they kicked people out after they were literally at war with the people that they kicked out. They didn't come in initially and kick people out, because if that was the case, it would have happened when they started migrating there in like the 30s. But that wasn't the case. It would have happened when they right before they declared independence in 47. But that wasn't the case. It was after every other Arab nation in the area, including Egypt, including Lebanon, including Jordan, including what the people of Mandatory Palestine, declared war and tried to wipe them off the face of the planet. Wipe them out. They tried to expel them, but it didn't work. They were going to get 45% of what is now Israel. 55% would have went to the Jews of the area, the Zionists. Instead, they said, no, we're going to wage war, and they lost. You say, oh, well, they expelled them. They kicked them out of their land. Yes, after war were declared. Come on, let's not turn in history on its side.
This is like, this is like certain people come to Australia, just use Australia. They come to New South Wales, take a land, push the people out, and they go, let's have peace negotiations. We get 50%, you get 50%. We get 41, you get 70. What? Why would anyone accept that?
Because you lost, what was it, like 5 wars. Well, at the initial time, you'd lost 1 war. Then you lost another war. Then you lost another war. Then you lost, I think it was another war. There was a war in 47. There was a war in 67. There was a war in 73. And then there was a war, I believe. No, I think that was it. That was it. So why the hell? And he lost all of them. So why the hell would the burden be on Israel? Or why would you try to paint it as though Palestinians can't just sit back and let the people that came in decide their fate when they lost every war for that fate? You lost.
Let's use a contemporary example. Russia's invaded Ukraine. Now they've occupied certain parts of it. Let's say they end up occupying half of Ukraine, right, by 2025, for example, hypothetically. Would it then be fine to then start negotiations, how much Russia gets and how much Ukraine gets? And then if people start saying Russia has a right to exist, the Russian, that part of Ukraine, am I wrong to push back on that? No.
This is such a horrible comparison, and I'm tired of hearing it, bro. In 47, you were given the land didn't technically belong to Palestine. Didn't belong to the Palestinians, it belonged to the British. Mandatory Palestine, occupied by the British. By that logic, it would be as if Ukraine was not the land of the Ukraine, the people of Ukraine. It wasn't even called Ukraine. It was mandatory Ukraine, controlled by, let's say, America. And America, after a bunch of, let's say, Africans, or no, we're going to use Russia in this instance. Russians started buying up land. They said, okay, we want to create our own Russian state in mandatory Ukraine, which the Americans own. And Americans go, okay, here's the plan. We're gonna give 45% to the Ukrainians and 55% to the Russians. And the Ukrainians go, no, absolutely not. Go to war with Russia, trying to wipe them out, and they lose. That would be the similar instance.
It's an occupation. Israel is an occupation, that was established by forcibly dispossessing people, many of whom still have the keys to their homes. As soon as you start unpacking some of these narratives and stories, you see that they really don't hold any water.
Israel has not
If Israel put down its
civilians. Are you
guns
willing
tomorrow,
to stand by that statement?
if Israel put down its guns tomorrow, there would be a second Holocaust. If the Palestinians put down their guns tomorrow, there would be a Palestinian state. That is the reality.
So what's your response to that?
That's complete nonsense. It's complete hyperbole, has no basis in ground realities. This is a clear...
No basis when Hamas, leading Palestine, has been shooting rockets at Israel for like the past 20, 30 years. Well, no, it would be like 20 years, unending. And when they got the chance, orchestrated the most deadly terror attack since the Holocaust on Jews. But there's no basis on this. Use some critical thinking skills.
Clear example of a transparent propaganda tactic in which the aggressor is trying to take the place of the victim. The fact of the matter is that we are seeing a genocide play out in real time in Gaza as we speak. We've all seen it over the last month. Yet propagandists, the go-bells of our time like Ben Shapiro, want us to believe that the problem here is that Israelis face the potential of a genocide. So an actual genocide doesn't matter. An actual plain-out genocide is justifiable. We should be worried about some potential, hypothetical, completely imaginary Holocaust that's going to play out in Israel if Israel puts its gun down. That's nonsense. The reason he's going down that path is because, number one, it gives them a carte blanche for Israel to do whatever it likes in Gaza. Bomb hospitals, bomb bakeries, bomb schools, kill thousands of innocent people, kill thousands of children. Because why? Why is it justified? Oh, potentially there's some boogeyman that's going to inflict a Holocaust on us. The other side of this is that it's a way to justify occupation. It's a way to disarm people who are saying the occupation should be reversed by tying cause for the reversal of the occupation with genocide. But why is the call for dismantling a political entity being tied to a genocide? That's nonsense, right? Israel is an occupation. Let's reiterate the ground realities. Israel is an occupation, and a brutal occupation that's dispossessed millions, that's oppressed millions, that's resulted in generations of Palestinians living in refugee camps, being besieged and being brutalized on a daily basis. Cause to reverse that and to stop that are not in any way cause for a genocide or cause to kill the Jews or drive them into the sea or any nonsense like that. These are cause for dismantling a political entity, for a transfer of authority, for a transfer of sovereignty. It has nothing to do with killing anyone, right? There are very, very simple and clear ways in which this can be done. You return the land, and if there's a population, if there's an issue of population here, there are various ways people can go back where they came from. Dual citizens can go. There are various options, right? And of course, Israel's not going to do that. We know they're not going to do that. But the point is that attaching the idea of reversing occupation with genocide is a completely immoral and a transparent form of propaganda. Of course, Israel's not going to make any of these changes, and this is why what's most important is for people to stand up and amplify the cause for truth and amplify the voices of the oppressed.
Dr. Osman, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Was that it? This was the worst pro-Palestinian propaganda I've ever heard. There are arguments to make against what Ben Shapiro said, but these ain't it. These ain't it. They don't hold any water, and they're not even like good arguments. It's bad enough that you have to entertain their lies after they call these people animals. You're playing a psychopath's game. They use the same language as any mass murderer that's locked up and has no remorse for their actions. What you talking about? It fails, this guy. You know what? I would actually like to see Ben debate. I don't know if he actually did. Somebody who actually knows what they're talking about Palestine. I guess he never did. Yeah, I don't see nothing. don't see nothing at all. Yeah, I don't see nothing. It's all right. Here's what I want to see though. I want to debate somebody. Somebody talking about. Okay, got it. I want to see somebody talking about this and talk to them about it. Okay. Nobody is out talking about this right
Like is focusing on urban development.
Okay.
Essentially, how
I'll do 10 spoons of cinnamon choices. Choose Trump because I think he's better of the two. If that
Bro, a meal prep or something.
عيط كان بده يرجع معتز left غزة he posted him crying امبارح
Is that
حط
from his
فيديو
injury?
بيعيط
understand what's going on. Like how you feel is valid for how you feel. We need, as far as to us.
And happy birthday to you.
now. Jesus Christ.
butter
Who was the first to submit to Allah? Was it?
Jewish people who were,
Okay, Lord of Melon.
obviously doing much better financially were a lot more comfortable not learning Hebrew because they didn't understand the point. And to them, like it was even described as by one of them, just another weird dialect of Arabic. And she's like, I already speak Arabic, I already speak Italian. Like, why do I need to learn this like language that doesn't sound like anything but Arabic, but weirder, is what she described it as. And so it's really interesting because you start to see like a shift because the Zionists begin collaborating with the Italians, and at that point you start to see pogroms arrive in Libya where people are all being mistreated, and that's where the concept of okay, we need to leave Libya and go to Israel starts to emerge.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Um, Zionists just believe Jewish people have the right to their own state. That's it. Well, so that's like one of the definitions, right? But there's actually like a very like a very substantial debate in academia whether or not Zionism is this is what we say. We say it's a national liberation movement, like how you're describing, or a settler colonial movement, right? Settler colonial project. And like there's a very, very, very strong argument to make that it's not a national liberation movement, that it is a settler colonial project. It has more similarities. But
There's
again,
like a consensus in academia that the Palestinians not only were native and indigenous to the land, but outnumbered and then were dispossessed. And for that reason alone, it can never be a national liberation movement because the people, quote unquote, liberating it were foreigners to the land.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Too Tall Tax, if you disagree, you're more than welcome to join. I'm curious to know what just a good old country boy from East Texas, fishing, hunting, and barbecue, has to say on the topic. So you're more than welcome up.
Yeah, please. Anyone who disagrees with any of these points here or anything else, you know.
But also, can I just say one thing? Like, tell me that doesn't like send a chill up your spine, Melon. Like,
Which one?
this sentence, where is it? Zionists just believe Jewish people have a right to their own state. Tell me that doesn't send like a chill up your spine, because it's almost like packaged to us in such a romantic form. But what it doesn't give you the complete sentence, which is at the expense of Native and Indigenous populations.
Right.
So does that mean that you don't consider Jews native to that land?
I would Native, sure. Indigenous, no, not this
Indigenous,
Israeli population.
yeah. I mean, they were there around the same time. They basically have the same DNA now, all of them. It's just religion.
I always say is Judaism is not foreign to the land. Jewish people are not foreign to the land. Israel and Israelis are.
Yeah.
They're not foreign to the land. I'm not sure why you would think that, actually.
Well, I think that because they came over on boats and they came to the land
from where?
3,000 years later. They came over from various different parts of the world. So this notion that even the Israeli population are interconnected to one another is like
so do you think archaeologists are just like making things up?
Well, archaeologists don't agree with you. They
and historians, no, they do though. They would agree with that.
That is.
Let me show you something here.
Ian, damn it.
How do I get this off? So, what's up, Athena? So I have this book here called A History of Zionism by Walter Laqueur. This is a really famous Jewish academic, right? I believe it's here, where he says, at the beginning of the 19th century, the number of Jews in the world was around 2.5 million. Almost 90% of them lived in Europe.
Yeah,
right.
And we all know why, right?
Yeah, but so at this time period that we're talking about of early Zionism, late 1800s, early 1900s, I mean, these people were from Europe.
Which is new history, by the way. Like, if you're talking 19th century, it's still new history.
Yeah. But so, like, the idea is that, you know, sorry, I'm gonna mute you, Zay. There's some feedback. But so basically, you know, you had these, you know, European people. You had a very, very big movement of nationalism going on in Europe at the time as well. You know, the unification of Italy, the unification of Germany happened at the same time period, right? And as Europe was uniting into nation states, from like feudal lords and stuff, they were also dividing up the world, right? They divided up Africa at this same time period, right? They divided up the Middle East at the same time period, and part of their colonial movement was to create, you know, a state of, as Herzl puts it again, a European state in Asia, right? Like, that's how he described it. He described it as a European state in Asia. It would be for European interests, and they would civilize the barbarians, right?
Are you saying Jews tried to do that in Africa, and is that what you're saying?
I mean, actually, like, there were some plans. Like, there was
or
the
Christians.
Land, there was Uganda, there was Argentina. Yeah, they had different ideas of where they wanted to do, and it all revolved around. I mean, I'm not saying that Jewish people divided, you know, did that stuff. I'm saying that Europeans did, right?
Well, yeah, I would agree with you, the Europeans, but I wouldn't agree to say that Jews are, you know, obviously they're not from Europe. They ended up there, but they're not like from there.
Sweet.
And then they branched out with their religion,
But this is a really big question for me, you know, because like I'm an American guy, right? Like I have ancestors from Ireland, England, uh, Zay, you still got some background going on. Maybe drop and come back. Maybe that would help. Um, but you know, so I have Irish, British, German, French, Lithuanian ancestors, right? Like, where am I from, right? Like, I don't know. I don't think that I can say that I'm from, you know, I mean, I guess you could say I'm European, I guess, but like I'm not from Ireland. Like I have ancestors, like my grandfather was from there, but I'm not, right? Like I'm from America. That's where I was born. That's where I was raised. That's the language I speak. That's the culture I come from. I come from America, right? So like this idea that like for like a people can be living in, you know, my like family has been living here for like what, 200 years, right? So like um you know, this idea that like you're living in Europe for 2000 years and like you're not European, I don't know, man. Like I find that like just it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
we're for 2,000 years. I would, but they never left Israel. Like not all of them, just some of them. So
yeah,
that's why now today, like their DNA with Palestinians and Israelis are virtually like basically the same. It has a lot to do with their religion now because they've been, you know, mixing for like thousands of years, just like, you know, like the Dutch and the Germans, basically from the same tribe.
Sure. Yeah, but I mean that's not like I mean you know that's not the case for all, you know, Jewish people. It's not the case that like all Jewish people have like this similarity in DNA to the Palestinians. You're right, a lot do, but like it's not true for like I mean obviously there's big difference in DNA between like Ethiopian and Ashkenazi Jewish people, right? Like
That would just be religion based. Like they believe in they are the Jewish religion. You know,
but what I'm saying is that like they're different ethnicities, right? Like they're different races.
Yeah, just like Christians or, you know, Muslims or Buddhists or, you know, Hindu. They don't necessarily have to be from that region. They just have the same religion.
Yeah, and this is another really big problem with Zionism, with Israel. Like, so, you know, I have an uncle who married a Jewish woman, you know, and converted to Judaism, right? He has access to that land. Like, he can become a citizen, no problem. He converted. He's not native, he's not indigenous, right? He has the same DNA as me, basically, right?
He has access to what land?
He can become an Israeli citizen.
I think anybody can, just like anybody can become an American citizen if they, you know, do their due diligence to try to become one, you know.
No, that's actually incorrect. And I don't blame you for not knowing this. But Israel has a law that prevents specifically Palestinians from becoming citizens.
But
It's
why
called,
does 20% of Israel
yeah, no,
Palestinians?
I'll explain.
Okay.
So it's called the Citizenship and Entry Law into Israel. It was first passed in 2003. The law makes inhabitants of the West Bank and Gaza Strip ineligible for automatic granting of Israeli citizenship and residency permits that are usually available through marriage to Israel. It expired in 2021 but was reauthorized in 2022. So basically, what this law says is that if you're a Jewish Israeli type guy, right, and you want to marry someone in the West Bank, that person in the West Bank can never become an Israeli citizen. Never. What
Is
you
that
have
for sure?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to look into that. Like I would like to just be able to take your word on that, but I feel like there's something missing.
No, no, I understand. I'm just a guy on TikTok. You shouldn't take my word for it. You should research it. It's called the Citizenship and Entry Law into it, or the Citizenship and Entry into Israel Law. So yeah, please, look into that. I think where I stand on this kind of stuff is, the evidence is abundantly clear, and I think the more you look into it, the more it becomes clear that it's an apartheid state. This is one of the ways in which it does it. And by the way, um, Prime Minister Ariel Sharon in 2003, when this law was passed, he stated, "There is no need to hide behind security arguments. There's a need for the existence of a Jewish state," right? At the time, Benjamin Netanyahu was the finance minister, and he said, "Instead of making it easier for Palestinians who want citizenship, we should make the process more difficult in order to guarantee Israel's security and a Jewish majority in Israel," right? So they have a demographic problem, right? Because if you want
all of us, I think many countries kind of, I mean, we're not all of us are perfect. Obviously, in the United States, we have our, issues with that as well. But I still, regardless, still believe that Israel should also have its own state, just like Palestine should. So I do support Palestine having their own state, and I do support Israel having their own state. I just do not support, and many Palestinians don't, a Hamas-controlled area.
So, like where I come from, I think about it like this. Like I think that a state is responsible for its citizens, right? It's responsible for all of its citizens, especially the minority, right? Now, the philosophy of Zionism does not say this, does not agree with this. This is why they want the two-state solution like you described. They want segregation. They want separation between two different peoples. They don't want to live together. They don't want to have a state that provides for all of its people. They want a state that is majority Jewish. And by the way, this is not like hyperbole. Like it's not hyperbole. Netanyahu himself, who's been prime minister for not the last, but 17 out of the last 23 years. He has said, 17 out of the last 23 years, that's the longest time. He said that Israel is, exactly. And he said that Israel is not a state for all of its citizens. It is a state for the Jewish people, right? So he very explicitly said, like, we are going to discriminate. Like, we are doing discrimination and we love it, I mean, imagine if a US president said, like, this is not a state for all of its citizens. This is a state for white people.
We have done that. We definitely have done that. I mean, didn't we just have like a Muslim ban and everything like that? Like we've done that here in the United States.
The Supreme Court didn't allow that, but you're correct that they tried to do that. Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah.
But I mean, with the history, they should have a two-state solution, because I don't feel like just based on religion alone, I don't know if they can peacefully coexist completely.
I mean, I don't know. I'd be interested to hear why you say that, because I mean, when we look at history,
a lot of people think that it's just Hamas is the issue, but there's several terrorist organizations within the West Bank just alone. There's about 6. And it's obviously not, your average Muslim. These are extreme. This is not, even the Muslims don't like them. So they'll always pretty much exist because they have their own separate type of educating. It's not like a regular Muslim. It's extreme, just like Hamas is part of the same brotherhood that has unalived 75,000 Christian Nigerians now. They're part of the same brotherhood. So that's been happening since 2009 in Nigeria. And look how long Hamas has been, about close to the same time. So there's obviously huge red flags, and even Egypt is concerned about. So I mean, there's a lot to it. So I can understand both sides, but there's definitely some that I don't think people are realizing.
So you think that that because of the existence of violent Islamic extremism, that there needs to be like a Jewish state?
For their own sake, I mean, based on history, yeah. I mean, there's only so many. I mean, there's really Jews. I mean, compared to like Christians or Muslims and everything else, there's not that many. So one little state, I feel like they should have.
So I mean, the problem with this is that it's ahistorical, right?
I'm back. I don't even know why it's asking that. Okay. Oh, it's yearly. What the? Oh, my controller did. Fuck me. There's no reason why this shouldn't work. Oh man. All right, I'll just do that another time. It's actually pissing me off. All right, I think we are about done here until I figure this out. That is annoying. That is annoying. It's so much small bullshit. Like, actually, it's annoying to have to continue to go through and go through and go through. But it is what it is. We'll eventually get it together.